Feeling misunderstood is such a hard feeling to have when you're around so many people that love and care about you, because you want to be open, and yet when you say something, they don't understand. And when you want to try and be there for people, you feel like you can't authentically be there because you don't think that they understand you, and you don't feel like they understand you. And when there's that disconnect, and there kind of becomes a line within the sand that was never drawn, but that just appeared. And when you feel like that, that can be probably one of the most loneliest feelings that you could ever experience. When you're with people that you know and love, but you still feel alone, that you still feel lonely. And at times, that's gonna happen, regardless of the room. You could literally be with a million people and still feel alone and lonely because they don't understand you. I use the words alone and lonely interchangeably right now because they can be in that instance, because lonely, I feel like, is the feeling of being misunderstood, not being heard, not having that same emotion reciprocated. And when you feel alone, you don't need that. You're just content within yourself. And I think sometimes when you are in between that lonely and that alone feeling is when it's hardest. Because when you wish people understood you, but you're also comfortable being alone. And that sometimes you do need that alone space. And sometimes when you're around certain people, you feel drained. And sometimes when you're with the right people, you feel energized. But who is to say when you are with the right people, you don't feel drained? Because regardless, at the end of the day, you're human. That you might not want to talk with other people. You might not want to be with other people. And that's fine. I think so often we get this idea, this notation, this connotation that you have to be with 1,000 people every single day to be fulfilled. But at times that is true. We're social beings. We naturally need connection. But at the same time, you also need your own independence, your own thoughts and your own feelings. And when that becomes interwoven with a relationship or a friendship, that's hard. And especially when problems come up, they're inevitable. Problems are inevitable, especially within yourself, let alone having a connection with another human being, because they carry their own. We all carry our own stuff. And when we are open about that, then we can try to understand one another. And sometimes when we have that miscommunication, things are missaid, words are not heard, and feelings are hurt. And I think the best way to avoid those conflicts is through communication. Even when you feel lonely and you're trying to communicate with those people that you don't feel like understanding, try to hear them out. Give them time to talk. And then try to ask them, are they open to listening to your side? Because sometimes people are, and sometimes people aren't. And I think at the end of the day, when you can be honestly okay with them not understanding and leaving the situation, leaving that friendship, leaving that relationship, then it's time. Sometimes I think that there is a side of where it's selfish, that you leave when it's hard and that you don't put effort in. I do think that is at times selfish. But when you do try to put an effort repeatedly and you try to show them that you are willing to listen and try to work things out, and they don't want to, then it's your sign. Not every time, but sometimes. Because there's so many if, ands, what ifs, buts. Relationships are a gray area. Not everything's black and white. And when you can just go through it, I think, and when you try to figure it out, You just do. You just can. And you can try. But sometimes you have to leave. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because sometimes closing a chapter in a book is worth it, rather than having to continue to write the same story, the same page with the same outcome every single time with those people who don't listen, who don't want to understand you, that make you feel lonely. So I want to leave you with this. You are given very hard things to deal with. No one says and no one will say what the right answer or the right solution is to deal with it and how to deal with it. Don't be too hard on yourself, because you're still trying to figure this out. You're still trying to put one foot in front of the other, fall gracefully, learn from it, and continue. So just stay open. Stay open. Do not let your heart get hard. And try to receive love and give love like you would want to give and receive. Food for thought.